And hello again, Internet. Well, here we are once again at the end of the year, so I'm going to continue my tradition of reviewing games 20 years too late and taking a look at a notable game of the year. In this case, I'm actually going to pick something rather current and prominent, and we'll see if we can find any of those wonderfully entertaining bugs as we play. But yes, at the beginning of this, I went ahead and I'll go ahead and kind of make a list of my favorite games that I played of the PC. It has to be the PC because console stuff, there's just so much console stuff, and I didn't necessarily get all the consoles. Of course, I didn't play all the PC games either. But PC is just an easier way to do it. And I might change this up considering that we've now hit 2,000. And it might be time to just go ahead and go back to console games for starting next year. But we'll see at that point. As far as Cyberpunk here, I'm going to try to avoid spoilery stuff. I did just do a story mission last night, but so I might get some phone calls in it. But I'm just going to go be doing side missions for scratch. At any rate, the top 10 PC games that I played of 2000. Now, the thing about these lists is, 10 entries, it really is a lot. 2000 is an interesting year. There were some absolute classics released, but as I go down the list of all the games released that year, there really weren't that many that looked that impressive to me. And that's the same as every year. I mean, trying to get 10 of them, you end up with some kind of questionable titles on the list, and at least I didn't have to put certain ones on this list. But at number 10, I'm going to have to put Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed. Now, I loved the Need for Speed series. I really did. I'm going to turn my mic down a little bit. It seems to be spiking for some reason, even though I keep telling it not to. There we go. That should be better. Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed. Like I said, I loved the Need for Speed series. In fact, until Gran Turismo came out, Need for Speed was kind of the go-to as far as racing stuff. I know there was the Test Drive series, but I always found Need for Speed to be much better, particularly with, the cars you could use. And yeah, the physics were arcadey, and there was a lot of rubber banding in the earlier titles, but it was still just a lot of fun to drive, and it felt really, really good to drive. And let's see, which do I want right now? Let's grab this one. But Porsche Unleashed, the fifth game in it, came after a pair of real, just classic versions. You had High Stakes, Hot Pursuit, Hot Pursuit, then High Stakes. High Stakes especially good since it kind of had Hot Pursuit in its entirety in it. So there was a lot of fun to be had in that one. And I just don't think that Porsche Unleashed lived up to it, especially, being Porsche Unleashed. It very specifically was limiting the types of cars you could drive. You got to see the history of Porsche, which was interesting if you like Porsche. As far as the big three sport companies at the time were, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Porsche. Porsche was my least favorite. And I know there's a lot more companies now making really good cars than just those three. But at the time, those three were kind of the big ones. Because even then, McLaren was getting in. So yeah, it was a racing game dedicated to a company I didn't care as much for. Oh, darn. Still a fun game. And if you love Porsche, I'm sure it's fantastic. I mean, it does have a lot of good detail, a lot of history in it. It just wasn't for me. Just a second. Alright, number 9. Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of M. Now, this is one I didn't actually finish. In fact, there's going to be a couple of those on this list, games that I never got around to actually fully finishing. And with this one, part of the reason was I literally continued my character from the first one right away and was getting a bit tired of it at the time. So it was a little bit of burnout. And honestly, the engine didn't look as good to me Sometimes those give you extra missions when you do them. So it didn't quite look as good to me. I don't think it played quite as well. The characters weren't as fun. I mean, you had Minsk still. Go for the eyes, boo! Go for the eyes! But he was lacking part. I mean, the person that he was tasked to protect had been killed between games. And it shattered him. Which, you know, rightfully so. But it left the character being not as amusing and entertaining as he had been before. Did free up a party slot. I don't know, just overall, it was a good game for what I played of it, but it didn't stick me like the original did. Number 8, Descent 3. Now this is one I wanted to do on stream and wasn't able to. I did play a fairly decent portion of it, but never finished it. I loved Descent 3 though. Really did. It was a lot of fun for what I played. I especially liked the fact that unlike Descent 1 and 2, you could actually realistically play 3 with just a mouse and keyboard and have full control. The first couple, man, I mean, you saw me on the stream with those. I really needed to use a custom engine that let me use the dual stick controller for it just to fly it around. Otherwise, at the time, I had a flight stick joystick for it. Kind of needed that to control it with the various rotation and the axis. But 3, they managed to get the controls much more smooth. The engine was kind of nicer because it let you go inside and outside, which is something you couldn't do in the other one. Story, I mean, you actually did make it back, at least. So the story was interesting there as well. Unfortunately, like I said, I wanted to be able to play it, and it just could not get it to run properly anymore. Alright, now right now, see, this is I think a glitch in this game. Notice that the breach time is not moving yet. Which means I have all the time in the world to sit here and go, okay, what would be the best route for this? I can hit that for 5-5, then hit 1C. There's no one over there, so if I go over here, 1C, there's no 5-5 over there. So I go 7-7, 7-7, 7-7, 5-5, right? I hit 1C here, there's no other 5-5. I go down here, 1C here, okay, I'll go over here. And then okay, there we go. 5-5, 1C, 5-5, 7A. See, I got all the time in the world to do this because the breach timer doesn't start until you click the first one. I think that's a glitch. Sure seems like a glitch. I better have gotten more than 54 out of that. Yeah, well, whatever. There we go, 2,000. That's what I got for that one. But yeah, the engine let you open up to go outside instead of just inside the caves like you could in Descent 1 and 2, which already was a big plus right there because as fun as Descent 1 and 2 were, the whole concept of having to be stuck inside the mines and then find your way out after destroying the core, it got old pretty fast. Yeah, I pick up everything. I pick up everything. No, I'm not sick. I just have the allergies stuffing my nose up right now. That's all that's going on. So no, don't worry. I don't have the 2020. Again, you want to see those complete the job. So now I want to read the thing and maybe get a second thing. Oh boy. Okay, they started dying because I've been stealing their medication. Oh, that's fun. As you can see, my top 10 list is actually going kind of quick today. I've already done 3 of them in the first 10 minutes. Usually, I spend more time talking about them, but there's not really a whole lot to talk about on a lot of these. At least not until we get to the later ones. And I should actually be spending more time talking about these games than just blowing through the list. But I mean, what was it say? Porsche Unleashed, it was Need for Speed with Porsche. Okay. So we get to number 7. Another one that I haven't fully completed. There's a lot of that on this list for some reason. You figure 20 years would be enough time to complete a game, but nah, you don't know me very well, clearly. I mean, there's a reason I started this show. Giants, Citizen Kabuto. And this is another one I actually do hopefully plan on doing on stream at some point. And this one is available on Steam, etc. So I'd recommend checking this out. It's a third-person shooter. I forget. I don't know if it's by the same company that did MDK. I know there's some connection to a company that's done another kind of cult classic game. Giants is a bit of a cult classic of a game. There's 3 different play styles, and they're all pretty different. I can't really tell you much beyond that because of how long it's been since I've played the game. Unfortunately, I genuinely can't. I mean, I think there might even be a 4th style. I don't remember anymore.
Hi.
It's one that I would recommend checking out, especially if you can get it. Oops. I don't think I was supposed to hit him. Especially if you can get it cheap. Wait. Alright, who's trying to light me on fire? And done. What we got here? Progression shard for the breach protocol. I guess those just come automatically, so they don't end up in your inventory. Yeah, that's one thing. There are progression shards you can find in this that just straight up give you an increase to certain XP, certain skill XP, which is useful when your skill isn't maxed out, as has happened as I've picked up several of my shards before. Ah, well. As I say right now, I'm just mostly going for money, so I'm going after all these little police missions. Yes, Giant Citizen Kabuto. As I mentioned, it has multiple modes to it, which is already kind of unique. You know, how many games, especially back then, had several game types in it. Now, they're similar, of course, but still, it's pretty cool to have multiple styles in the same game like that. The story, I can't remember what it was, but I remember being interested in it. Can I actually finish this? Yes, I can. Yes, max that one out. How much did I get for that? Doesn't say. Okay, there's one glitch in this game. Notice I keep getting item receive, item receive, item receive. It does that every freaking item. So when I go through and pick up a whole bunch of stuff at once, that takes forever to finish. God, I wish I could tell you more about Giant Citizen Kabuto. It's just been so long since I played it. That's why I want to do it on stream at some point. As I say, it is available on Steam, etc., so you might want to take a look at it there. It's less known than it should be, in my opinion. Should be a well-known game, but... Alright. And another one I never finished and tried to do for the stream. And this one didn't work on the stream. I legitimately did try this one, and I could not get it to work. American McGee's Alice. This one I actually did put a fair bit of time in beforehand. You know, I had actually played it at the time. Where are you? I want you to notice something about this weapon as well. Okay, see that? Head go pop, right? Head go pop on a lot of these. Non-lethal. So I non-lethally exploded this dude's head. That was very non-lethal. I don't know why some of them are milky white and some of them are not. Some of them are bloody. At any rate. Yeah, American McGee's Alice. Very good game. A definite darker take on the story of Alice. I stopped playing at a point where I was getting physically uncomfortable because the background was spinning and I was walking across bricks that were moving, as in disappearing behind me and floating up to reappear in front of me. And it was just, like, literally, it was one of the only times in a video game I'm just sitting there, I don't want to do this. It was just making me physically uncomfortable trying to go through that section. But all around, it was a lot of fun to that point. I wish I'd pushed on through it. An interesting take. I wish I could get this one to stream. It's another one that just, there's some part of it that doesn't want to stream properly. It was like the 2D portions were completely missing in the OBS window. So all the text and such, or even like the UI itself, your status bar and all, just weren't there. And have a Hall of Mirror effects instead. And I don't want to run games like that. I want them to actually, I want them to run properly if I'm going to stream them for you. I don't want glitches like that. And unfortunately, we're in the era there, the 90s, you know, after 95, or now at this point 2000. From the mid-90s on, for a while, the games get harder and harder to run properly. And that really is a shame. Now, I have not played the sequel to it. I don't even know when that came out. I don't even remember the name of the sequel. I know there was one. Ooh, what do we got here? Thank you. Already have it. But most of the stream is going to be talking about Cyberpunk anyway. So I shouldn't worry too much about the fact that I'm kind of breezing through the top 10 list. And much like last year, I don't have a lot to say on a lot of these titles. Alice was fun, but I didn't get a chance to finish it. I want to do it on stream. And the thing is, for a lot of these, it's not until we get to the actual top of the list that I'll have a lot to say, because then we'll get in toward my favorite games. In fact, that was the bottom half of the top 10 list. I don't even know why I do top 10s if that's the case. It's just tradition. No, you gotta do 10. You get 10 figures. We have a binary counting system. Gotta do top 10s for nice round numbers. You end up filling them the bottom with kind of filler. That's what the bottom half of this list was. With the only notable exception of Need for Speed and Porsche Unleashed at the very bottom of this list, it's been mostly filler of games that are like, yeah, I had fun for what I played of it. This right here is a mission that's glitched out. If you do have this game, and you come up on this mission where you're supposed to find the needle in the haystack, and you get to opening this door, do not open it remotely. You have to open it by hand, otherwise it'll glitch out and won't let you finish the mission. Alright, so now we're getting to the part of the list where I actually do remember more of it. Although we'll find that out in the next part. Carmageddon 3 TDR 2000. TDR is supposed to stand for the Death Race, although it just calls it TDR officially. Because, of course, the game is based on the Death Race 2000, or at least the original game was. But they didn't have a license for that, so... The Death Race 2000, of course, being a Sylvester Stallone movie. He's not the star of it, but he's in it. He's one of the major characters. Fun movie. Really good movie. Now, Carmageddon 3 is the weaker of the Carmageddons. In fact, it's one that was not done by the original team, and so they've kind of disavowed it, disowned it. Although you can still play it. Ooh. Huh. I mean, they do sell it again, and you can check it out. Oh, I don't know if I streamed. I don't think I streamed any of the Carmageddon games, to be honest. 3, first one is just straight up vehicle combat. Pardon me. You gain levels by... I'm not going to be able to finish this one, damn it. You progress through the game by getting a high score in the races and just climbing up the rank that way. And it is time consuming. Very, very time consuming to do that. Give me a moment to get a drink here. Pardon me through all that. Very professional that I wasn't able to hit the mute properly. Because that is one fault. Like, I love these new headsets that I have, but there's no mute. They got this nice button on it. This button does not mute it. This button turns off the lights. It would be so nice if this button, light goes off, it's muted. That would be perfect. But that's not what it does. It just turns the lights on and off. And the mute is this switch on the side that half the time I have trouble switching. So, that's my biggest gripe about these headphones. But, like Carmageddon 1, very grindy to progress. You had to basically do the same missions over and over and over and over and over and over and over to get points and, quote, level up, unquote. Carmageddon 2 added missions where, like, every 3 maps or so, there'd be a kind of story mission to do. And they were interesting things, some of them very complex, some of them very tough as well. Like, okay, take out Don Dumpster, which in Carmageddon 2 was absolutely freaking massive. It was a dump truck that was the size of an actual giant dump truck, as opposed to previous games where it was closer to, or most of the games, honestly, where he's closer to actual car size. 3 took that to a whole new level. On 3, every other level was a story mission.
We'll get out of here alive!
Yeah, you may know my character is basically a Terminator. I'm a Terminator with a giant fucking hammer. That's how I play this game. The stealth missions, my version of stealth is to walk in and anyone who sees me, I hit in the head with the giant hammer until they stop seeing me. Because this is fun to me. Yes, being a fucking Terminator is hilarious. But yeah, like every other mission in Carmageddon 3 is a story mission slash you have various goals to complete. It's not just your basic vehicular combat anymore. And you kind of take it or leave it with that. I mean, most people play in the game for the vehicular combat, and that kind of limits it. And some of the story missions are pretty BS, to be honest. I mean, oi. Like, there's one of them where you gotta jump across a bunch of rooftops. There's one where you gotta throw explosives at sharks. Robot sharks, of course. And yet, it still had some of my... I don't know. Jeez, actually, I don't know. I couldn't remember if 3 or 2 is the one that had that nice bridge level. 'Cause that was fun. Because you were trying to get over out of the... Because it was a post-apocalyptic future, of course, where the, you know, good people are all living inside these walled cities, and these death races are taking place out in wastelands, kind of like this right here. And in one of them, you have to like take a bridge to jump over the walls into the city. Of course, then again, you get there and you set up just as if you were in any other race. So, you know, some safety the city's provided. Remember this non-lethal head exploding. Yes, I do have other weapons, but head exploding. I told you I was just going to be pretty much grinding for money right now. In this. Yeah, and Carmageddon 2, as far as the way the game felt to drive, because that's one of the things about the Carmageddons, is they always felt kind of sloppy to drive, to be honest. 3 has the most issues, especially if you had the free DLC, because it added cars that weren't scaled properly. Ew, what was that? Somewhere down here, it was a contact lens. Where was that? Oh well, guess I missed it. Yeah, because there were these free DLC cars you could get, and they didn't actually scale the cars properly for when they would appear. So when you were trying to run around and I keep finding things that then disappear. Did I already pick them up? What's going on? Like that. What is that? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't get what this game is doing to me. Alright, anyway. Yeah, they didn't, like, put them in their specific level sections. So at the very beginning of the game, you'd end up with cars that were very difficult to deal with. Hard to outrace, hard to destroy. Carmageddon 5, or 3, well, I'll get to why I called it 5 in just a second, had another severe limitation that a lot of people really didn't like about it. And that was that Carmageddon usually, you know, it was a time-based game, but you could gather time based on attacking your opponents or running over pedestrians, scoring points. You'd earn more time, and you'd be able to earn in 1 and 2 a near unlimited amount. Even though the display would cap out, it would keep going. And in fact, I think the display capped out at like 45 minutes, but if you checked the map, it would keep going to at least 60 minutes, and it might keep going even beyond that. I'm not sure. Or it might have eventually capped out at an hour. Still, that is plenty of time to go look around a level.
Organized crime activity reported on Martin Street. Maelstrom has established a presence in the area. Kaiser Herzog, aka the Surgeon, spotted. Priors include.
Whereas Carmageddon 3, the time limit would max out 5 minutes.
City authorities are offering a reward for the removal of Herzog and Maelstrom from the.
That was all you could get, 5 minutes to explore. So you had to keep doing things, particularly in combat with other cars, to keep that time limit going. And that was just That was the big mistake in that one.
Go, go, go!
That really pissed a lot of players off. Because that killed the heart of the game. It also made doing the pedestrian kills rather difficult. I have just insane armor, obviously. Pretty sure that was the guy I was supposed to kill. So not a lot of time to explore the maps. More focus on not necessarily story missions, but objective missions, as opposed to the vehicular combat that the game was centered around originally. And just wasn't quite, like, the controls were a bit different. Not quite as slippery as they were in the previous ones. Which made 3 just not quite as good of a game, unfortunately. And for a long time, that was the end of the franchise. And well, that one's done. I have solved this place. Check into the machine and get some money out of it. Trying to think of more to say about Carmageddon 3. There are positives to it. I mean, it's not like it was a completely terrible game. It just, when you compared it to the previous ones, didn't feel quite as nice. It was a different company taking it in a different direction. And for some people, it kind of worked. You know? But not many. It was generally considered the weak one of the bunch. And I can see why. And I can't entirely disagree with it. But I still had fun with it. So that's why it's number 5 on my list. Okay, let's move on. Number 4. Icewind Dale. Now, this is another one that used the same type of engine that Baldur's Gate did. Only I think Icewind Dale, I'm not going to say they used it better, but there's a lot of fun to be had with that one in particular. I actually think I beat it before I beat the original Baldur's Gate even. There was just something about Icewind Dale that was more fun to me. I don't remember if that's the one that you could abuse. I'm trying to get up to the roof of this building. Can't find a way. Where you could abuse summons. I think Baldur's Gate was the one you could really abuse summons. I think they actually toned that down in Icewind Dale. But I'll tell you one thing Icewind Dale had that Baldur's Gate didn't. A freaking dragon. Yeah. Icewind Dale, the end boss was a dragon, and that was freaking awesome. That is, assuming I'm remembering Icewind Dale 1 and not 2. It's another one of those where, you know, it's been a long time since I played. So they might kind of bleed together. And yes, I'm prioritizing doing the bottom and middle ones because that's where the money is. Oh, no, don't fall all the way down, damn it. You know, if I had the legs that let me double jump, I'd probably be able to get up there more easily. Oh, come on, you're going to tell me you can't reach that? That's what I thought. There is no way to get EC5. Look at this. There is literally no way to get EC5 to get this last one. Alright, at any rate, save my game again. Yeah, Icewind Dale. Another one based on Dungeons and Dragons, 2nd edition. It's important to note it was still 2nd edition back then. It wasn't until Pools of Radiance and Neverwinter Nights that they went to the 3rd edition version. I can't tell you the story of it anymore, because I played it like when it came out, and that was it. But there was something about Icewind Dale, it hooked me more than Baldur's Gate even. I just had more fun with it. The cold setting, I guess, had more to do with it, maybe. I don't know. I know you fight a dragon at the end, and that's about it. Told you there'd be one on the top part of the list that I don't remember that well, but I do recommend Icewind Dale, too. I seriously do. I think it kind of was in Baldur's Gate's shadow, which I don't think is entirely fair. Like I said, I enjoyed it more than the first Baldur's Gate overall. I just have played so many games since then, and only played it back when it was new, 20 years ago, that I don't remember it any longer. Oh, those guys weren't sure where I was there. Like this one. Is there someone there? Is there someone there? I've just killed 3 of your friends in front of you, and you don't know if I'm there or not. Boy. Yeah, Icewind Dale. I'd love to tell you more, but I don't have more. So we're getting to the top ones. Only 40 minutes in. That's actually about right for this. For how long this usually take. I wish I could, be more detailed on some of these, but my brain is made of failure. Hey, got all 3. So how much money did I make out of that one? Hello? How much money did I make? It's not going to tell me anytime soon. Well. Yeah. So this is what I mean when I say that 2000 was an interesting year. There were some absolutely amazing, classic, seminal games, but not that many. Overall, it was kind of a dry year, which I guess is kind of true of most years. There's only really a handful of absolute classics released every year, and if that even, some years kind of have a dry spell. But here, top 3. Diablo 2 in 3rd place. Yes. Diablo 2 is probably to this day one of the best ARPGs out there. Definitely better than Diablo 3. Wow, I really got to go all the way out and around to get to these now. Diablo 2, just everything in it worked so well. It's nearly a perfect game, except that I don't like having to go through the game repeatedly to truly get to the high levels and experience it on it. You don't just play the game once. You got to play the game 3 times to actually play the game. Oh, shit. Oh, good, I missed you. And no, I'm not actually worried about getting close to dying here, because I have an item equipped that gives me an extra life, basically, every 2 minutes. It's another reason why I'm a Terminator. I have a 2-minute immortality. I would have more, but they don't work. But yes, Diablo 2, just, I wish it was high res, I'll tell you that much. The game is unfortunately low resolution, but I'm kind of surprised they haven't done it. They're going to. At some point. What the hell was that? That was a strange message. At some point, there's no way that they're not going to make a true HD version of Diablo 2. I just hope they do better than Warcraft 3 Reforged. I hope they do a lot better than that. But I mean, the story in Diablo 2 was... It was everything a sequel to Diablo needed to be, and then some. It was more. Not just more of the same. You had more character classes to choose from that actually made a difference this time, other than being slight graphic increase and different... the thing, like Diablo 1, even the graphic difference was more in their poses than the actual character. The character looked the same throughout, mostly. But no, you got completely different characters when it came to 2 that mattered more than just slight graphic poses and such. You had real diversity in what they could do. And a lot of very, very powerful. I still love the original Necromancer in that. Back before they nerfed how many skeletons you could have out at once. And then I'm glad at one point they let you actually walk through your skeletons, because for a while you couldn't. Yeah, that was fun when we got to the end of, was it Act 2? The pyramids. And then you had an army of skeletons out. You spawn in and floop, you're stuck. You ain't going anywhere. But like the story was so much bigger, and it continued straight off the previous one as well. Just larger, more expansive. You got to see a lot more of the world, more environments. It made the first game feel like it was a test run to what Diablo 2 wanted to be. It was like they weren't entirely sure, so they made a demo. I don't know why the Synaptic Accelerator keeps doing that. It was like they made a demo to see if the game could work and be successful. And then Diablo 2 was the game that they had wanted to make. And it was just amazing. I mean, there's still people playing it, especially over Diablo 3. 2 has more people more fond of it, and rightfully so. It feels better to play. There's, I'm not going to say more diversity in it, and they did fix 3. A lot of the problems of 3 have been fixed. A lot of them, not all of them. I do actually like 3 now, but 2, 2 is a classic. This is probably never gonna be topped. I don't know if any ARPGs made since then have topped it. Then again, I haven't played all of them. But like Diablo 2 is the game that other games wanted to be. Ooh, what do we have here? Electrical. Oh, finally! Finally got electrical mantis blades. I guess I just had to find them somewhere. Notice I've got a fair amount of money now. I started out kind of low this morning. And even then, like, the expansion for Diablo 2 added another act, so another environment to go through with fantastic boss, absolutely fantastic end boss in that. The extra character classes. See, now I want to play Diablo 2 again. Like, genuinely, I'm sitting here going, man, I could totally roll a druid right now and play a bear druid. I haven't done that in so long. That's a sign of a real classic game that 20 years later, just thinking about it makes you want to play it again. Are there any flaws of Diablo 2? Grindy. It's very grindy, especially if you're going for the high-end stuff. And again, like I said, to really get the most, quote, out of it, unquote, you have to beat the game like 3 times, which the hell, Borderlands definitely took inspiration from that. I don't know, man. I don't know. Whatever happened to just beating a game once and being done with it? Or being able to get overpowered in your first run through without having to go again and again and again. I mean, sure, play it again to get the other character classes if you want to do that. But I shouldn't have to play it 3 times. And then again, even then, the 3rd time, because of the way it's done, you have to make sure you have specific requirements on your gear. Because you take more and more elemental damage in the higher ones. So you have to make sure you've got more and more protection from the elemental damage. So you have less diversity in your gear even. So again, is it a perfect game? No, I think it has flaws. But the flaws can be overlooked and forgiven with how fun the game is. Alright. I could keep rambling about Diablo 2, and it would be mostly rambling, like most of what I do and say the entire time. But I'm going to move on to the number 2 slot. So what game could possibly be better than Diablo 2 of all things? And I think I just fucked myself. Well, The Sims. Yeah. Number 2 for the year 2000 is The Sims. Yeah, I think it's actually better than Diablo 2 even. The Sims is an interesting game. Like, I could describe it to you, and everyone's heard of this game by now. Of course, everyone's heard of this game by now. It ended up becoming the most popular selling PC game of all time. Has spawned several sequels, all of which have more DLC than you can shake a stick at, because it still makes money. And I'm going to be entirely honest on something here. 20 years ago, I wasn't making that much money, and I pirated the game. Oh, what a mistake that was. Because I ended up buying it, and every single expansion pack for it, individually. Now, they did eventually release a complete set, which is the way to go if you want to get it today. But nope, I bought them all individually when they came out. So it was very, very expensive. And I do mean all of them. I have the entire freaking set of the first Sims. I then went and bought The Sims 2, but didn't get any of the DLC for that one. I just bought the base game. And at that point, I was kind of done with it for a while. Even though I still kind of want to play the newer ones now. But yeah, I could describe the game to you. And it would sound like the most boring thing on earth. Why would you want to play just... It's Sim Life. It's called The Sims for a reason. You're trying to play as Sim people, a person or family, basically just trying to make their way through the world. Kind of go through the career, better themselves, etc., etc. And yet, the way it's done, there's enough off-kilter bizarre things, because they know they couldn't get it. This is probably, I think, one of the most brilliant parts of it. You couldn't get it perfect. You were going to be in the uncanny valley. So they made sure to kind of twist things to give it a bit of an over-the-top, humorous edge. Brilliant. There's, they speak in Simlish. They don't speak words, they make noises. Oh my god, is that? No, it's not.
You're in deep.
Tore right through her!
Oh, that's not what I wanted. What did you just replace? Stop doing that. We got a long blade now. Does even more damage. Of course, there's a reason I don't care about the long blade, and that's because I have these. Let's use them. Let's show you why. Da 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 da. Yep, I have Mantis blades. Legendary at that. But yeah, like The Sims, things are just a bit over the top. Is there somebody in? Oh, there are. That's what was going on. That's some smuggling to deal with. Well, I just solved some human smuggling. Okay then, there's my good deed for the day. Anything else I'm gonna find in here? Well, some legendary. What do we got here? Oh, didn't I buy one of those? God, freaking! I did. I bought one of those. Couldn't use it either. Alright, well, I'm out of here. And that's one annoying thing about this game too, especially with the cybernetics. Buying them sometimes and then just not having... You can't sell them once you buy them. What was I talking about? I was talking about The Sims. I don't know what to say about The Sims, man. I mean, it's sim life. They changed it up enough, made sure it was, you know, add the humor aspect because it was going to be Uncanny Valley anyway. They weren't going to make it realistic, so change it enough to let you do some just crazy things with it. And especially when you get the expansion packs, man. At least the base game was somewhat based in reality, but you get to the expansion packs and things just go completely off the rails. This, by the way, is the most expensive car I know of in the game. Where am I? Keep doing the... yeah, and get back out of this car because the assault is right here. But yeah.
What was that? Good thing you showed up. For a second, I thought, you know.
Oh, nope, still someone alive. There we go. Every time I pick up a junk item, it gets dismantled automatically. That's where that crafting XP just came from. I know, I'm trying to think of something else to say about The Sims. It was really ambitious. I'll give them that. I mean, you're trying to make a game based on people and how they interact and... you know, sim
life game. Now, of course, Will Wright had done plenty of sim games at this point. He was kind of the man as far as sim games went. Okay, well, I'm not going to be able to do that one right now. Screwed that up. Oh, well, I'm not trying that hard, to be honest. I'm just playing. He'd done plenty of sim games at this point and had kind of banked a lot on this game. In fact, originally they didn't want to do it because, again, the sales pitch for this game just sounds so amazingly dull. Who would ever buy it? But you got the right person in charge. How far is that? Okay. You had the right person in charge, you end up with a fantastic game. Alright, let's take a quick peek at what's available here. I don't want to do that, honestly. Oh, boy. Not gonna be doing much driving around, am I? I guess I am. Okay. And, you know, I don't blame people for being cautious about The Sims. It worked. It worked really well. They spent enough time tuning it, tweaking it, playing with it to make it feel good to play. And I genuinely cannot comment about the newer ones as much as I can that first one. I played a lot of the first one. I played a whole bunch of the first one, then stepped back and saw that I basically created a pair of yuppies in it, and I had to stop playing for a while. Because who wants yuppies? I mean, really? Alright, I guess I should give them honorable mentions now. Okay, my screen goes blue like that because I get a bit of slow-mo and only a little tiny bit when somebody starts to spot me. Which means it's a good way to know when somebody's starting to spot me as well. I think it's kind of broken that way. That you don't even have to know someone's spotting you, it just happens. Alright. Ow. We done yet? Nope, still one of them up there. And yes, I pick up everything. For me, that's the point, is I'm picking up a bunch of stuff to then sell. That's actually one of the things that was causing a glitch in this game earlier. Anyway, let me finish this off. The Sims. The game that should not be ended up creating one of the biggest franchises of all time. That just rakes in the money to this day. And I do mean rakes it in. EA sells way too much garbage for the games. They're exploitative as hell with it. Like, it, at this point, there's honestly too much with The Sims. And yet not enough, because they keep taking stuff out of the game to make the sequel. Oh no, you gotta buy the new one now. Yeah, but it doesn't have this. Doesn't matter, gotta buy the new one now. We're not gonna support the old one anymore. Okay, will you sell a complete edition like you did the other ones? Haha, no! We want your money. We're not gonna give it away for free. We want your money. That's why you'll never see a complete edition of Sims 3. Hell, the only time you ever saw a complete edition of Sims 2 was one that they kind of offered as a bit of a freebie for having Origin. You couldn't buy it. And they don't even offer that anymore. It's gone. It is long gone. So, honorable mentions. It's been long enough. First honorable mention of 2000 is going to be the PlayStation 2. Yeah, I know this is a PC list, but you can't deny the PlayStation 2. It is probably the best console made, or at least most successful. I don't know if it's sold the most. It's got to be. Well, it's got to be up there. I think it actually is the one that sold the most. But it has some of the best overall games made for it, hands down. Now, part of that, admittedly, is because of just how many games were released on that system. But even then, there is, even greater than the PlayStation, there is just an amount of absolute classics for the PS2. To make it, if it isn't the greatest system of all time, I couldn't tell you what is. And I'm a big fan of the Super NES. Big fan. I would still say the PlayStation 2 is a greater system overall.
Let's get this party started!
Yes, let's. Okay, the next honorable mention. Let me take a peek after I kill these guys. I do have a list written down here. Yes, this dude just tripped over the corpses. I love that they do that. They come running out and tripping over their friends' bodies. Or body.
Killing is fun!
So someone over here.
Fuck her up!
Yep. Too much stuff. Let's break something down here. There we go. Now I can move again. Alright, whatever. We just broke up someone's birthday party. Alright, next honorable mention was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I played it on Dreamcast. I have no idea how the PC version is. That's why it's not on this list overall. It freaking amazing game, though. Oh no, oh no, I'm not going to be able to do that one. Okay, let's break off here. Uh-oh, I'm going to run out of time. I'm going to run out of time. I failed to eat the bottom one. That sucked. But yeah, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, I played it on Dreamcast, which is why it's not on my PC list. Freaking amazing game. Way better than the first one was. I know that they just recently redid them, and I would recommend if you haven't played them to give them a shot. They played really well. The controls were pretty amazing, and the second one, even that's before manuals. I think that was added in 3 to help really extend your combos. But for something as simple as, well, it's a skateboarding game, no, there's a surprising amount of depth to those games. And again, the controls, oh, they nailed it. And that by far had to be the most important part of those games, was to make sure it felt good to skate with them. And they nailed it. Absolutely amazing. Do recommend playing them. Next honorable mention is going to be Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. That's one of the earlier games that I ran on the stream, and it didn't crack the top 10. It didn't. But I thought it was pretty impressive for what it was, to be honest. It was a lot better of a game than I expected it to be. And I'd recommend giving it a shot, checking it out if you get a chance. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as Bloodlines, but for being the first of the Vampire the Masquerade RPGs, yeah, I think it worked. I think it was interesting the way that it actually took you to a couple different time periods in it. Because you played back in the original era and brought forth to the modern era. And of course, because you were one of the original old school vampires, you had a lot more power than in the modern ones, where the bloodlines had diluted. Which is cool as well. That's what you want in roleplay games, right? Like I'm playing with this one here. You want to have the power. You want to be one of the ones that just stands out. And that game gave a really good reason for why it happened. And one more, I'm going to call this one a dishonorable mention. But it's a game that should be remembered. Daikatana came out in 2000. Yep. Good old John Romero was going to make you his bitch. Yeah. I don't even recommend playing it. Genuinely don't. It should be remembered. It should not be played. It just isn't a good game. Genuinely is not a good game. Like they're not kidding, the people who have been trashing that game for the last 20 years. This is not a case of, well, it just didn't live up to hype. No, it's garbage. It really is. I need to go sell this stuff. What am I doing? Why am I collecting more things when I need to go sell? Alright, clearly I need to break some stuff down now. So that leaves what the #1 game of the year is, and if you know me, you should know this one. I mean, it's not quite as obvious as, I think it was, what, last year, where it had my actual #1 game. But this one, yeah, there's no denying that this is the game of 2000. Deus Ex. Simply put, one of the greatest games ever made. Period. It set so many standards. It's just... No, don't break that one. Shit. Whoops. It's just a prime example of how to make a video game. You've got the multiple paths. You've got the RPG elements in a first-person shooter. The RPG elements basically amount to being able to increase your stats, which make you choose how you're going to play the game. You know, you can pick to be sneaky. You can pick lock-picking or hacking. You know, ways to get around security. But you have to choose. You can't do everything in it. So you modify your playstyle, and the game is set to accommodate multiple playstyles, different ways of doing things. So it knows people are going to try different things out. You can try to be the tank like I am in this. You can try to be sneaky. This game kind of lets you... A lot of games have let you do the same thing, but Deus Ex not only was one of the first to do it well, or to do it, but they set the bar so high with it, with how to do it well. It's a game everyone should play. And yes, I did run that on my channel long ago. It was one of my first games that I ran. It was back in the... Fucking ran it right next to Daikatana, ironically. It's back in the first 10 I did when I first started this channel. It's looking at the combination of RPG and first-person shooter games. And I still think Deus Ex holds up. Can't say much about the sequels. I haven't played Human Revolution and Beyond. I will say that the first sequel, not very good. And the problem is, like, it by itself would probably be considered a better game, but you cannot not compare it to Deus Ex, and Deus Ex was so good that it really is one of those where it ruins sequels. Because a sequel will never be as good as that game was. Alright, so... Dang, if I could just get a BD off this, but I can't. Alright. Yeah, the first game was so good that it makes sequels almost impossible. And I mean, Human Revolution supposedly is pretty good too, so I'll have to try that at some point. And of course, to note, there was a second almost sequel that got changed into something else called Project Snowblind, which, honestly, I think that one might have been a better Deus Ex 2 than what we got. Oh, it still wasn't a great game. I did run through that one as well if you ever want to see it. So yeah, there's my top 10. Let me just go through them once again. And again, like, you know, the bottom of the list, it's a tough call. You're getting into having to be filler. Let's save the game here. And I think it's been about an hour, which is about the time. Oh wow, even more than an hour. I spent more time talking about this list than I usually do. Of course, a lot of it was rambling. Again, that top 10 was 10, Need for Speed, Porsche Unleashed. 9, Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Anne. 8, Descent 3. 7, Giants, Citizen Kabuto. 6, American McGee's Alice. 5, Carmageddon 3, TDR 2000. 4, Icewind Dale. 3, Diablo 2. 2, The Sims. And number 1, Deus Ex. Those are my best PC games from 2000. And there are games I didn't play, so, you know, take it or leave it. I don't really do RTS games. That's why there's no Command & Conquer on there. Stuff like that. Now we can talk about Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk. Yeah, this is so far my game of the year. And it's, don't get me wrong, there have been some tough competition this year for game of the year. Again, kind of like 20 years ago, the top games are top games. Now, I will say, yes, I know about the controversy of this game on console. That's a port issue. That is not an issue of the game being bad. That is an issue with a bad port. I'm playing the PC version, and as you can see, I'm playing it on a PC that, thank God, is hot enough to run it. Remember, I spent a lot of money on this PC recently. I bought it kind of for this game, among others. So, yes, it runs it, and it runs it beautifully. This game looks great. It has bugs. Oh my God, does it have bugs. But come on, what game doesn't? Let's be honest. Name a game that doesn't have bugs, especially AAA titles. Yes, I will admit they probably need another year at least to fix this. And I hope they do. I genuinely hope they fix this game because it deserves to be fixed. I think they will. I think they're going to keep working on it and patching it. I hope this becomes a No Man's Sky situation. Genuinely do hope this becomes a No Man's Sky situation, where eventually the game is what was promised. They just released it too soon. And the thing is, there's a very good reason why this was released early. They had a hard window to hit, and they had already missed it once. You see, there's a tabletop roleplay game written in the 80s called Cyberpunk 2020. And today is the last day of the year 2020. They had to get this released for that game. No, they tried to release it ahead of the game. they tried to release the thing back in 2019. At least that was their initial time frame for it, and they weren't ready. And, well, they had an extra year to work on it. Yeah, kind of. For those, who don't remember, if you're watching this in the far future, 2020 sucked. There was a lot of things, particularly the pandemic, that made working on something much more difficult than it normally would have been. So this year, yeah, having a year to work on it, this year, you didn't have a year to work on it. You had significantly less. Which really is a shame. Now, I do think they're going to keep working on it. The game itself is here. There are bugs. Oh, there are a lot of bugs. There are some pretty nasty bugs. But the game itself is here. And it works. Really? You just stood there and watched? And you have nothing to say to me now? Fuck off. The game is full of bugs. But the core of the game is here. The company lied like crazy. Oh, I mean, like, no shit on that. Especially with the console stuff. They knew the console versions absolutely were not ready. I don't know why they pushed those. Release the PC version, sure, but the consoles just were not in any playable state. And the thing is, part of it is this engine is a bit too much. Like, genuinely, this engine is too much for the older systems. It's too much in general. I don't know why you need all this. But, like, does this really look that much better than games made before it? I don't think it does. I guess you get more people in it. I mean, that's a lot of people showing on screen. But is it that much better where old hardware just can't run it? I'm not sure it's worth that. The guy stuck his head through the wall there. There's a lot of clipping issues. Are you pissing? That was a new one. I haven't seen someone just running around with glowing piss coming out of them before. Look at this. He's still going. That's a new bug for me. I have not seen that. Congratulations, stream. Yeah. Stream. Ha 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 ha. Oh, man. But this game really is pretty fantastic overall. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And again, it was a tough choice this year. Like, Red Dead Redemption 2 came out on PC, or on Steam at least. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a 2000 title. That's a this year title. I mean, I know it's not, but for all intents and purposes, it kind of is. And it's not as good as the original. I'm not kidding on that. I like Red Dead Redemption 2, but it never grabbed me like the original game did. And the original just grabbed me and did not let me go. It took a while for me to get into Red Dead Redemption 2, and even then when I did, I wore myself out on the game before finishing it. I'll go back to it. I'm pissed at it right now because there's a bug where every time you load it, it drops the volume in the volume mixer for that game to about 20%. And it's just like, stop doing that, please. Because I have to go in and fuck around with the mixer every time I open it up. And no, it isn't a quick fix because I don't have my volume maxed out on my computer. I have it set to about 40% so that I can turn it up when something is too quiet. And the way the volume mixer works, if you move one of the notches above the line for the normal thing, it moves everything else down. It's really goddamn annoying. So until they fix that, I kind of don't want to play it anymore. Alright, I've mostly cleaned out that area now. And then, of course, there was Doom Eternal. And Doom Eternal would probably be the game of the year, if not for the fact that it has some things that don't feel very Doom-like. You know? I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a magnificent game. Absolute hella fun to play. And I guess the zipping around does work, but I hate the parkour shit. You've heard me bitch about that in other games. I just absolutely detest parkour shit in shooters because they take you out of the game. All you're doing at that point is trying to find the pathway forward instead of actually doing what you're playing a shooter for, and it's right there in the name, shoot. I just find them to be a complete waste of time. And unfortunately, Descent Eternal is full of them. They put a lot of those sections in because they wanted to showcase that Doom guy now zips around all over the place. Still, overall, very, very fun game. They also, like, immediately forgot one of the lessons that, you know, the reason why everyone loved Doom 2016, or Doom 4. And that is the fact that Doom guy did not give a shit about the story. Oh, the story was happening. He didn't care. He had no time for it. He had demons to kill. Doom Eternal is loaded with story and plot and scrolls to pick up and read and just, oh god, it was story overload. It's like they went the exact opposite direction that they'd gone before. Oh well. It's still, like, it's a 9 out of 10 game. Absolutely 9 out of 10. But Doom 2016 was a 10 out of 10. And if I had to play one of the two again, and only one of the two, that actually is a really tough sell. They're both so good. I'm not sure which one I'd pick. I genuinely am not sure. I might actually pick Eternal over Doom 2016 if I could only play one of the two again. Partly because Doom Eternal actually has Doom 1 and 2 in it. Censored versions of Doom 1 and 2, but better censorship than we got on previous ones. No, actually no. I take that back. It has the BFG censorship without the extra levels the BFG edition had, so fuck it. Of course, you can put your own WADs in, if you have them. Play the proper Doom that way. And I do love that. It did have a lot of little... It had a lot of things for fans of it. I mean, for fuck's sake, there's Daisy in it. And yes, Daisy is the canonical rabbit name. It actually mentions it in the text file, or in the, not text file, but in the text of the game. 58955. Yeah, I'd rather get the bottom one than the other one. So yeah, Doom Eternal. Okay, am I still? Yes, I am still missing something. This is the thing I'm supposed to get here. Alright, so there's another job complete. Yeah, and I've been doing nothing but these, I know. Like I said, right now, I'm trying to avoid doing anything spoilery on this game. So I'm just running around doing these side missions effectively. To kind of show off the game works, I love this game. I genuinely love this game. So many cars. What should I drive this time? Oh, yeah, I'll drive this one. By the way, you can find this car. Something to just take note of. Okay. Now where? There's one. I do love how much there is to do in this. Right now I'm trying to get money because, well, I spend my money on two things in this game. That's not the right way to go. I spend my money on implants and cars. And I just bought the most expensive car, which was that previous one I was driving. And yeah, it's expensive, and it's honestly a lot of fun. I actually think it handles better than this one. This one's faster, but the other one, like I said, handles better. It's just better to drive overall. What the hell cost me 100 there? Wow, you just dodged 3 of them. But only 3. Your smart targeting sucks. And yeah, I don't know what to say with this. My character's built to be a Terminator, and the hammer just does so fucking much damage. It does an absolutely obscene amount of damage, which is why I'm using it. I have other weapons that are... I have a sniper rifle that also does obscene damage and makes heads explode. Lots of heads. My setup is actually kind of perfect right now. Is I've got something for long distance, something for medium distance, something for short distance. And they're all amazing weapons. That's really the setup you want. Long range, medium range, short range, go. Because you can only hold 3 weapons at a time. That and my mantis blades. But those are basically... I have those set up. I've actually spent more points on melee. So, you know... I mean, on blunt weapons. So, you know, the hammer. Which is another reason why I'm using it, because it's that damn good. Than I have on bladed weapons. And I've got my blades set up to basically slice and dice single target with DOTs. So if there's a real big, like if you see someone with a health bar pop up on the screen, that's what my blades are for, which, you know, you're not going to see this when I play, but that is what my blades are for. I will just sit there and dice, and keep adding more and more DOTs to them until they drop. Because I've also got, it's got chemical for the attack type on it. And on top of having a chemical attack type, my attack speed is way up. Legendary speed booster on legendary blades. So, but yeah, like there are a lot of bugs in this. The biggest bugs I've seen have basically come down to things spawning inside of other things. So like you call a car and it will spawn inside of another car and create this kind of amusing chain reaction where things will just fly through the air and explode. That happens a lot. Or just, you know, you summon a car and it falls through the earth. I've come out of a save, come downstairs to find my car half in the ground. There's a lot of small, but there are typos in this, which, given the amount of text, it's almost forgivable. Almost. Anytime you see a typo, though, it's a bad sign. Some of them, you know, it's like, okay, it's the wrong word. You didn't proofread it. You just spell-checked it. But not all of them. And there's been times when, like, voice lines don't play at all. You don't even get the subtitles for it. The line just isn't there. And those are the type of bugs I really want to see them fix. That, and there's a couple missions. Like I said, I have the one mission, I can't fix it. I cannot complete it because I opened the door the wrong way. That's apparently someone on the forums discovered. Ooh, nice. Discovered exactly what it is that caused that glitch to happen. And that's because you opened the door the wrong way. There's an easy fix for it. There generally is an easy fix because the reason you're opening it is to get one of the shards. You know, I've been reading those things. All they have to do is set the requirement, instead of getting it, just set the requirement to read the shard. And then I can read the shard again and continue the quest, but that would require them to fix it. There's another couple quests, like big quests, long quest chains, where you effectively don't get a reward.
Calling all NCPD subcons.
APB out for suspected organized crime
Activity over on Sycamore Street. Due to non-payment of rent and related fees, Night City has terminated its lease agreement with Impala Automatics for industrial property owned by the city. Impala Automatics has failed to comply with the decision and now legally occupies the premises specified in the contract. City authorities have offered a reward for the successful eviction.
So did you hear what's going on this mission? I'm basically evicting these guys. They haven't paid their rent, so they're out. And yeah, are you seeing how much damage I'm doing to some of these things? 18,000 damage. Stuff like that. Like, there's another bug too. Like, okay, see this? See how it has an item? I have never been able to pick up common items off of robots. Oh, this is fun. See that turret there? Mine now. So that turret's gonna shoot his friends. Keep it safe. Are you a turret? Well, I don't have enough RAM left to actually override you. Oh, man, there we go. Now I've overwritten you. Now I've overwritten you. I have the intelligence to just walk up and do it. Otherwise, I have the strength to rip the gun right off of it. Which I don't like doing because, quite frankly, my hammer does more damage than the gun. I don't even know why I'm turning off the cameras. It doesn't matter. I've already been spotted. Listen, this is my version of stealth. Hello. Might as well just override you permanently. There you go. Mine. Cool, I found a nothing. Wow, an empty shard. See what I mean about glitches? Messages. You guys didn't pay your rent. Oh, so there was something going on in here. They're not happy with us. I just leveled up to 40. I mean, it's not over yet. So we're gonna keep going in here. Yeah, got them all. So keep looking around this area for anything, because there's some... Hello? Did you just kill me? I think that thing actually managed to one-shot me. Alright, so there's got to be something in here somewhere. Gotta find my way inside the buildings. Because they seemed to be worried about something going on inside. Or this guy is the problem. Alright, well, let's go inside.
Fuck! Better check it out.
Dang, I was hoping I could get him without him seeing me. Man, there's a lot more in here than I was expecting. Not that it bothers me. I'm the freaking Terminator. Steal all the money from the place. Steal the hamburgers. Now something spotted me. Oh! Why, hello there. You look big. What are you doing up there? Job complete. Yeah, that looks like it glitched. Oh, nice. Again, you'll notice, like, yay. Yay. That's the thing I wanted. Like, I'm getting blank items and things like that. Definitely some issues in the game still. Why, it's almost like it's a Bethesda game. Ha 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 ha. The question will be whether or not this game gets fixed. Because Bethesda games don't. They have the bugs, and Bethesda just doesn't care. The bugs will remain forever. Whereas in this one, no, it's yet to be seen. Damn it, I can't go in there now, can I? Oh well. Locked doors. Who the hell are you? No, really, who the hell are you? What the hell was that all about? There's another nice glitch for you guys. Who are these idiots? No affiliation. Oh, alright. You guys are gonna bunch up in the air like that, I can kill you. You guys really have no idea who I am. I wonder if I can drive this. I can. Cool. Let's get out of it. Alright, well, that, I mean, kind of done here, I guess. Finish that one off. And the real test will be whether or not they fix the bugs in this. I'm hoping they do. Did you guys just fall from the sky? Oh, your gun did. Yeah, like, I'm level 40. I'm pretty high end at this point. Yeah, let's go back to that before I do that one. Actually, because I can do this now. Yeah, the mods come off this now, so I can break the ones that had the mods on them and keep the mods. So oh yeah, that's what you want to see. The ones that have this weird background, these are iconic. Well, actually, those are also in use, which is why they have the weird background. But if it's orange, it's an iconic one. If it's orange when you're not equipped with it. What are the iconic weapons? Special versions. Like, see how that's just blue? And this has blue and orange. See the orange in the background there? Yeah, that means that these are specific special weapons. Which I thought would mean that you can put them on your wall in your stash, but it's another apparent bug. Or not. I mean, that's another thing too, is it looks like there's a lot of things that they designed to have happen and don't work yet. Which is entirely possible, because this game still feels like it got a little bit rushed. Still is a fantastic game, though. I've heard some people complaining that it's not very cyberpunk-y. I disagree with that. It feels plenty cyberpunk to me. It even, like, I had at first questioned a certain issue with it, of whether they were doing the whole, you know, the more you get chipped, the more you lose your humanity. But no, they deal with that with cyber psychoses. I don't know if the player's ever affected by it, but job complete. Is there anything back here more? And a lot of those things, man, you read them, they're kind of heartbreaking. Especially the conversations, because most of the conversations go like this. Help, I'm in trouble. Oh, I'll get to you when I can. Hello, are you still there? Hello? 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 Yeah. It's kind of how a lot of those conversations go. Don't respond to me, please. Why aren't you responding anymore? What's wrong? I told you what was wrong. I'm in trouble. Oh, someone is dead. Alright, let's... Is this an easier place? Yeah, apparently that's going to be an easier spot to sell. Let's go through some tunnels. So, what's going to be on the channel next year? Well, I mean, Friday I'm still going to be doing Legacy of the Wizard, unfortunately. Probably more roleplay games, to be honest. I know that at one point I'd said no more roleplay games. Well, I like roleplay games, and I have a freaking ton to go through. I've yet to hook my consoles up again, unfortunately. I need to. Because a lot of the ones are PlayStation ones. Are you guys going to give me shit for coming over here and using this?
What now?
You are? Okay.
Fucking crip!
Initiating combat!
Well, I guess they weren't actually going to. Alright, in that case, reload. They weren't actually going to give me any shit. It just looked like they were. I don't know why they would. Hard to tell what the NPCs are going to do in this game sometimes. Let's go the other direction then. Yeah, this car is the fastest in the game, but like I said, the other one handles better and gets almost up to the same speed, so. And it's also more expensive than this. Even though you can find this one, there's a version you can buy. I do like the various vehicles in the game. As you've seen, I have several. There are a ton. Now, I don't think you're actually ever supposed to be able to get everything in this, unfortunately. As much as I would love to.
We're a little short this week.
Yeah, it's the freaking police again. Fuck off. Where can I sell? Let's actually go up here. Hold on, what was this on the map? Vehicle. Okay, so I've been to these net runners. I think I've picked up everything at them. I need to go to this net runner. So let's go to that drop point instead. I will be logging off before too long today. Apparently there's nobody watching the stream anyway. No one is saying anything. It's a shame, because I would have loved to have answered questions and such. Mostly also wanted to know how well the stream is running. Because it looks a little jerky to me on my stream side here. The game itself, by the way, runs smooth. Very smooth. But it seems to be having problems with the... No, it's like it hasn't really dropped any frames. But it looks like it might be a little jittery on the stream. It is, after all, a very intensive game. And I don't know if it's been jittery the whole time or not, because no one's been here to say anything about it. Do I recommend Cyberpunk? If you're playing it on computer. I would not recommend... I would never recommend playing a PC game ported to console. On a console. Just don't do it. If it's designed to be on the PC, play it on the PC. That's where it's going to be best. Yeah, there's a glitch that happens now and then where my character was kind of zipped out of the top of the car. I do like... There is one thing they've done that is kind of cute and creative and makes sense in the world. And that is visual glitches. Things like, a character who's kind of clipped into something or is standing awkwardly on stairs, etc. will have, every now and then, it tries to reset with a glitch graphics. And that can be explained with, well, your eye is glitching out. Because you have eye implants after. God damn it. Move. Fuck it, fine. Well, let's go through you. You do have eye implants. So, they could be glitching out a little bit. That's a fun way to explain things. Okay, so you can't sell Skippy. I have not shown you Skippy. I'm not going to. You have to play the game yourself and find out about Skippy. Yeah, I'm just going to sell the rest of this, and I will go to a Ripper Dock and kind of show off my stuff there and see what he has to sell, if there's anything new for me. Now that I've got a load of money again. I'm running out of things to do in this game, too. As far as, like, side quests and all go. That worries me. I don't use grenades, so I just sell them. And no, I haven't done any crafting yet. But as you've seen, I've been saving all kinds of materials for it. Oh, look at that. Now I can sell all of these instead of just breaking them accidentally. So nice. Are these things that make them non-lethal? No, okay. Nobody needs this. That I have equipped. Backpack. Break it. Break it. That is one impressive long blade. Long blade. I think I'll keep it. Oh, I don't need to because, you know, hammer. Okay. So, I was on my way to the Ripper Dock here. My last stop of the day before I start playing offline. There's a bunch of other glitches, like sometimes you get out of the car and you like can't run or anything. That generally happens because you were holding brake when you got out of the car, and thus it thinks you're in vision mode, enhanced vision mode, where you're trying to zoom in. So just tap that button, which for me is the left trigger because I am playing with a controller. It's another reason why not to bother playing it on consoles anymore. You can just use a controller on the PC version. And you know what? You can always get a better PC at some point, even if it's, 10 years down the line. You'll be able to get a better PC. You don't have to be stuck with what you have right now, as opposed to consoles where you will be stuck with what you have now. Like this is what I'm talking about right here. Tap the button and go. I basically always recommend buying PC instead of consoles. Because the games will still be there. Several generations later, games will still be there. At least as of right now, they haven't broken backwards compatibility again. Alright, Doc, what do you got for me? So, as you can see, legendaries here, 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 here. That's my armor. Let's see what I can do for the frontal cortex. You got nothing good for me, do you? Don't get me wrong, that's a nice one. Do I have the eyes? You don't. Now, there is one other right here. Look, there's a biomonitor. This doesn't work yet. I want it to work. There's a blood pump. These things. I know where the high-end blood pump is, which, again, it'll actually restore 100% of max health. Cooldown 3 minutes. That takes up your grenade slot. Doesn't work if you have synthetic arms. Any synthetic arms doesn't work anymore. So that was fun. What do we got here? Increases evasion by 6%. Anything here? Nope. Ooh, what is this? Increases attack speed. Don't really care about that. Because I have health and carry capacity. I know where the other one of those is. And you have this. Ooh, no, you got an upgraded one of these. What is this? Allows you to move and run more quietly. So here's your stealth one. The others are for jumping, getting around. As you see, I've not bothered with any. And what do you have here? Tabula rasa. Don't need that. That lets me redo my skill points. Not happening. All right, well, nothing good, it looks like. Okay, so you had nothing for me. But there you see what all I had. I'm pretty well chipped out and looking to get more. I'm trying to get the legendary eyes if I can find them anywhere. Any legendary really is what I'm looking for. So there you go. That is Cyberpunk. And yeah, it looks like my stream is not 100%. The game runs fine, but it always takes a bit more processing to actually encode it to stream it. Records fine too. Well, actually, I don't know. I have to check my recording. But there you go. Friday I will be back with a game I don't want to play. That's another reason I was playing this today, because I want to play this. This is a really fun game. Yeah, Friday I will be back with Legacy of the Wizard, which I freaking hate. Next year, we'll have to play it by year. I know what the next game I want to run is. Ironically enough, it's kind of tied to Legacy of the Wizard. That'll be interesting. It's been a while. And then we'll just kind of see where they go from there. The thing is, like, the games that I really enjoyed playing, that I started the channel for, I've played now. I started the channel for a lot of the purpose of playing through the older games, specifically the first-person shooters, that I'd missed in the 90s. And while there are still a ton of them out there, they either don't run right, or I can't find them legally anywhere without having to buy a used copy, stuff like that. I wish they were available. If they become available, I'll pick them up. But I can only play what I can get. And I play what I can get legally, unfortunately. Preferably anything on Steam and GOG, so I really wish more of these games would come back to it. But I've played through most of those now, you know? I've done that goal. So now, I'm not sure what to play most of the time. A lot of times I sit there like, I don't know, man, I gotta find something to play. So I might just open it up to more recent games and such, and just anything that strikes my mood, I'll play. Doesn't have to be, especially with my computer being able to handle more current games, even though this one is not handling it as well as I wished it could, because it should handle it just fine. Again, this is a really hype computer. This thing should be, it's got a freaking 3080 inside. It should be fine, but whatever. At any rate, take care, Internet. Enjoy the games you play.